Afternoon, Justin O'Keefe from Talent Force Recruitment, continuing our mission to help parents get back into the workforce and to support working parents. So today we're going to ask a couple of questions of ourselves about CVs. What are CVs all about? What is the approach one should take? What's the mindset you should really have? And what is it? What is its purpose? Now at the very end of this video, I'm going to post a link to a 45-minute video, very, very detailed, an expert in the area, where he talks about some specifics and some technicalities of the detail of what you'll do. But what I'm going to talk about is the approach. And in our experience, if you can get the approach, the mental attitude correct at the very start, that sets the groundwork. So, what is a CV? What is the purpose of a CV? A CV, if we think of LinkedIn as your own personal website, a CV, its purpose is to get you an interview. And we're going to come to the very, very end, we're going to come to the word confidence, an extremely important word. So a CV is your personal advert. Now, we work in a world where design really matters. We all judge things by how many typos there are, or whether a product works, or design. You hear design of products, and everything from software to computers to phones matters to each of us. Just like that, in the case of a CV, the layout is extremely important. The overall design, the flow, the font, the word spacing, the paragraph spacing. So this is something you really have to get right. Bad design can exclude you from an interview. Great design might necessarily get you that interview. So this comes back to the point of a job is being filled by a company, by a recruitment agency. They have a pile of CVs, and their job is to go through that to sort out who definitely not to bring to interview, who definitely to bring to interview, and some maybes. So if you think of the process as they look at the job description and you say, well, that candidate can do it or not. There's the process of inclusion. There's also a process of elimination happening. So that's where design, typos, strange wording, legacy font, or strange spacing, bad design can fail, can stop you getting through. So a question we would often say to people is, if your CV isn't working for you, what are you going to change? So let's again, we looked at CV interviews there recently, interviewing, and we said, put yourself in the position of the recruiter, of the interviewer. So many people would say that by the end of the first page, and most CVs should, unless you're in academia or science or some specialized area, most CVs should not be longer than 2 pages. So the question we often get asked is, should I use a template? Now, this is a double-edged sword. If you think the purpose of a template is to write your CV for you and you put some words in, then you shouldn't use a template. You probably need to go through the process of building it yourself. However, if you're happy using macros, many of these templates have macros and they populate it. If you're happy making sure there's no legacy material left over from the macros, and you're using it as design, then we would say it's probably a good idea. It would help. Certainly, I've seen some excellent ones. The other challenge with using templates is if you're using it, I'm sure many other people are too. So it's harder to stand out. ATS, applicant tracking software, and this is where we'll do a follow-up video on jobs boards and this sort of thing. But basically, this is where recruiters are using algorithms or software on the cloud to go through CVs, pulling out keywords. So about 3/4 of companies would do this. The bigger, the more likely we are. Now, let's talk a little bit about CVs. So in a CV, your approach has to be not just to list a job description that you had. I was an internal auditor, I was in-house HR, whatever quality, whatever the role was. You really need to bring a detail or richness to it. Numbers, number of staff working for you, KPIs, budget, profitability, number of customers. So your overall approach should be very, very much results driven. And this should be backed up with specifics around, I had a certain role, these are the dates, this is the company. So you really, really have to get into detail. You should not be taking the job description and sending it back in the form of a CV. Now, going back to what is the overall approach, what should you be thinking in terms of sending in a CV? It's extremely important that you tailor the CV. So there is no one size fits all. A good CV these days is simply not good enough. It really needs to be a great CV. So we would suggest modifying or adding detail or richness to 5 or 10% of the CV to tailor it for specific roles. Again, please do not send the same CV into every single job. At the very end of the day, the purpose of the CV is to give the person who's reviewing it confidence that it's worth their time bringing you in for interview. And that's really important. The word confidence comes through again. So your job, your task in this personal advert, this personal flyer, is to bring that richness of detail and make sure it's a really high quality application. The industry would say 70, 80, 90% of all CVs coming to the door contain errors. So by having great layout, having a targeted CV specific to a certain role, and having low or no errors, and that means getting someone else to review it for you. It's very hard to do it. You can't see the wood from the trees. So by doing those three things, you're ahead of the curve. You are that much better than many other folks applying for similar roles. So I hope that helps with CVs. I will post below this a link to a video. It's really excellent. Rowan, he's a little bit blunt perhaps, but the advice, the intent, the clarity of thought, it really is worthwhile. I hope this has been a benefit. Any CV questions, please put them down below. We'll do our best to answer. And remember, the CV is your advert. It's got a big job. It's got a big job to do. Its job is to get you an interview. So please give the person who's reviewing the CV the confidence to give you that interview. Hope this has been a benefit. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.